This episode is brought to you by Fortis Mentis Psychiatry, where Black and Brown girls can find individual therapy, mindfulness and meditation coaching, medication management, and case management. To learn more, go to fortismentispsychiatry.com/safe place. Welcome to Safe Place for Brown Girls. My name is Dr. Kathleen Estimé, psychiatric nurse practitioner. In the intro, I briefly introduced my story. Today, we're going to delve into in-depth about my journey. This podcast is called Safe Place for Brown Girls, and I designed it as a tool to help you navigate the complexities of dealing with anxiety, depression, and body positivity issues. My story, I know you can relate to. It's a very common story. I dealt with anxiety, depression, body positivity issues, and abuse. I've dealt with insecurities, being unsure, and having to deal with my mental health issues. As women of color, we're expected to carry a heavy load, a heavy burden, and nobody talks about it. We are the beast of burden in our society. We carry the responsibilities of maintaining the home, financial responsibilities, work responsibilities, and we rarely take care of ourselves. And it's time for us to take care of ourselves. It's time for you to take care of yourself. I was born in New York to immigrant parents from Haiti. My father was a physician with the World Health Organization, and he was stationed in Zaire, Africa. My mom left and went to New York, and there I was born. Soon after I was born, she found out that she had cancer. And like true Caribbean people, she sought to go back to Haiti. She tried medicinal remedies. She tried spiritual remedies. Nothing worked. She succumbed to the cancer in Miami. In Miami, my siblings and I were raised by my mother's sisters who poured an incredible amount of love into us. The loss of my mother had a huge impact on all my family, my cousins, my brothers and sisters, but especially me. I was my mother's youngest, and looking back to my childhood, I think I really did need therapy even way back then. Back in the 70s, it wasn't a common thing, much less in an immigrant family. Some of the impact that it had on me and my siblings, it caused a lot of childhood depression that went undiagnosed. When I was 10, my father came back from Africa, and he was essentially a stranger to us. My relationship with my father was always strained. My mom passed away, and I felt like it almost was because of him. As a child, I felt like if he were there as a doctor, he would have been able to help my mom. Looking back now, I realize, how flawed that reasoning was. But it caused a strain on our relationship. Going into my teenage years, it was a classic daddy-daughter syndrome. We had a very difficult relationship. He didn't understand me, and I didn't understand his perspective. It was different. He was 2 generations older than I was. I struggled with school. It wasn't that I was incapable of doing the schoolwork. I just was not focused. I suffered from a great deal of depression and anxiety. And at that time, I couldn't put a word to it. I didn't understand what it meant. I knew what I was feeling, but I couldn't label it depression or anxiety. And no one really did. So when I got pregnant out of wedlock in my early 20s, it was very disappointing to my father. And it caused a great deal of depression for me. He had hopes of America being a land of opportunity, and he thought that as the first child born in the United States, that I was going to be a very great success. And his disappointment in me devastated me. It brought me to a great depression. I sunk deeper and deeper into my depression and my anxiety. At that time, I still could not identify what that really was. Like many of us, I tried to fix it. I thought that the military could give me an out on my housing issues, my income issues, and a career. I tried to fix my life, and I thought that the best thing for me to do would be to go into the military. It would give me a career that would sustain me. Looking back, I think that that was probably one of the best decisions I made, because not only am I proud of my service to my country, but it gave me a lot of opportunities. It opened a lot of great doors. In the military, I experienced a lot of domestic abuse from the father of my twin boys. And I remember a lot of instances where my company commander had to come out and rescue me from the situation. As a result of the abuse, life really sucked. I questioned whether God was even in my life. At that point, I was a single mom with 3 kids. My mom was gone. I had a strained relationship with my father, and I really questioned whether I wanted to exist anymore. After the military, I was a single mom, and I sent the children to Haiti because I didn't have financial means. I wasn't mentally there to raise the children. So when I sent my kids to Haiti, I felt even worse. I felt like I was abandoning my kids. I felt like the cycle had just repeated itself. I couldn't afford to keep the kids. I couldn't mentally cope. And at that point, I felt like that was the only recourse. That was the only thing I could do. When I sent the kids to Haiti, they were with my aunts and they were taken care of. While they were in Haiti, I went back to school in an attempt to get a degree and start a career. The VA sent me back to school and I got a master's in criminal justice. And originally my intent was to go to law school. But life happened and I eventually landed a job at the VA and met some great nurses. And I decided to become a psychiatric nurse practitioner because I worked in the PTSD clinic. While I was working at the clinic and getting therapy, that's when I actually realized that I had suffered from a great deal of PTSD, a great deal of depression, anxiety, and I needed help. When I got my master's, I sent back for the kids, and the children were 6 and 8, and we decided to move to the Dominican Republic in 2004, and we spent 4 years there in the Dominican Republic in an attempt to establish a relationship with the twins' father. In the Dominican Republic, there was just another culture shock. I had no idea that Dominicans and Haitians had such a volatile relationship. I was actually told by the twins' father not to tell people that I was Haitian and to tell people that I was American. We struggled a great deal. The market crashed and we came back to the States in 2008. I remember the day that Obama was elected, we actually walked because we had nothing. We were destitute. But I felt like it was necessary for me to do my civic duty, and so we walked to vote, and I brought the kids to vote to show that voting was really important. But we still struggled financially, and it was really a tough time until I got therapy. When I finally got therapy and realized that there was another option, there was another way of thinking, a new world emerged for me. I don't even recognize the person that was 20 years ago. I live a fulfilled life now. I enjoy life. I wake up optimistic. When I wasn't med compliant, I had issues raising the children. They were in their teenage years, and that was a struggle in and of itself. I was not financially stable, and it was lots of things transpired. But eventually I became med compliant with my therapy, and I bought into the idea that I could change my life. My therapist empowered me and explained to me that I had the power to change my life. And this is why I'm doing the podcast, because I know I'm not the only one in this situation. I know you are also facing this situation, and there is hope. There is a better tomorrow. There is a way out. Each episode that I do is dedicated to women of color who suffer from the same mental health issues that I struggled with. My therapy is designed to help the person that was in a similar situation that I was in. I know that I was able to come out of the depression and anxiety and overcome it, and I know that you can too. If there's a topic that you'd like me to address, you can contact me via the information in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. I hope it resonated with you. And if it did, please join me on this journey so that we can tackle mental health issues for women of color across the globe.
This episode was brought to you by Fortis Mentis Psychiatry, where Black and brown girls can find individual therapy, mindfulness and meditation coaching, medication management, and case management. To learn more, go to fortismentispsychiatry.com/safe place.